Yeah, this is MC Alan Frew.
Jimbo, there you go.
All right, everybody. So that was Don't Forget Me When I'm Gone by Glass Tiger. Alan, say hello, and let's make sure we can hear you.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Fantastic. All right. Now, everybody, we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, the incredibly talented Alan Frew. Hello, and welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. It's a pleasure. Pleasure to be here.
Let me introduce you to everybody, starting with my cool, outrageous man about town co-host, Mr. Ron Russell.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Ron.
Hey, good to have you on.
Then we've got the man behind the boards, Mr. Chad Murphy.
Alan Frew, pleasure to have you, sir.
Pleasure to be here.
And then we have a chat room full of people from basically like almost every country is represented, so say hello to everybody in the chat room.
Hi, everybody in the chat room from all over the world.
There you go. So
now, I saw that you had snow outside. How often do you get snow?
Well, it usually starts much earlier than this, but there's something going on in the world, as we know, called global warming, and we just got it the other day. So we'll have it now December, January, February, maybe through March.
how
Wow.
cold is it? You're in Canada right now, right?
Montreal,
Yeah.
Toronto.
Yeah.
And how cold is it?
Today I'm not sure. Probably about plus 2 or 3 maybe still.
Oh my God, that's really cold. We're at 25. We're 25. We're in Pennsylvania, and it's 25, and it's pretty
And
cold.
we have more snow coming tonight.
Yeah, it's gonna snow tonight. So
We had snow 2 days ago, which is freak for us. We don't get snow this early in the year. We usually get snow January, February.
Yeah, see, it's unusual for us to not have snow until
Right.
now.
Well, I think the fires in California, that smoke, they say, is changing the atmosphere because so much of it that we're going to have blizzards one after another here.
But you know, it's really strange. I'm actually from Scotland, and they're having unbelievably cold weather, snow and blizzards, and that never happened when I was a kid.
No, Scotland was always rainy and damp,
That's it.
but not snow in Scotland. I've been up there a lot of times, Scotland. I have a friend. Oh, my friend lives in Northern Ireland. He lives in Lancashire,
Oh,
and Scotland's right up the road. As they
I've been to
say.
Scotland. I haven't been to Canada, but I've been to Scotland.
I went to Glasgow. What an interesting city, Glasgow.
well, I'm sort of from Glasgow. I'm about 9 miles outside of Glasgow,
Oh, then you were suburbs of Glasgow.
from a crazy mad town where people are so scared they won't even. People from Glasgow won't come to my town.
That's funny. All right, so
Why?
Because it's Glasgow's a very tough city, but the place I come from is the madmen, so people stay clear.
You mean crazies or just angry?
Just
wild.
A lot of anger and violence.
You're kidding. I didn't get that at all when I was in Glasgow. Everybody was
No,
friendly and
Glasgow's a little more cultured than where I come from.
He's a little outside of Glasgow, he said.
No, 9 miles
Okay.
makes no difference. Jesus, that's not.
Believe me, 9 miles can make a lot of difference.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love
Well,
it.
maybe it's because I'm from Brooklyn, New York, so I'm not afraid in Glasgow. Brooklyn, New York, you got to duck bullets.
Exactly.
You gotta love it. So anyway, first of all, if you don't know who Alan Frew is, who is a fantastic solo artist on his own, he's also the lead vocalist and primary songwriter for Glass Tiger, which for me personally, Glass Tiger is like in my top 5 favorite 80s bands like ever.
Wow.
Like I think that I actually when I got out of college, because I got out of college in 1986, and I had a roommate, and we would like listen to music, and we would have to pick CDs of what we were going to listen to, and the music would play all night, because we liked music on when we were sleeping, and it was totally straight platonic thing. But I picked Glass Tiger, the Thin Red Line every time. So like three nights a week, I would listen to Glass Tiger over and over for like a year. I did that. And, so I think that's one of the best albums that came out in the 80s. I think you guys are super talented, so I'm excited to have you guys on here. Rod knows the songs now because we played 2 of them since we've been on the show.
Listen, I got to explain. I'm 77 years old. Do you know how much music I have listened to in my life? From the 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. I mean, every decade I've listened to music. So I forget. But the minute I heard your song, I knew who you were.
You gotta love it. I love it.
You know.
I love it. Oh, that's good. The lighting's good too.
Yeah.
So here we have Alan Frew, you guys. So first of all, I want to know, because you guys are still making music. You're still making music as a solo artist. I read in the bio that you sent that you guys, as Glass Tiger, have a new album coming out in 2018. And on Twitter, if you guys follow Alan Frew on Twitter, you can see all his stuff that he's got going on. Like, you guys have been playing shows lately also a lot, because I see a lot of little video clips.
Yeah, we just we started in March, and we basically played pretty much all over Canada, and we ended up last Saturday night in a sold-out show in Montreal. And if you've never been in Montreal, I highly recommend it. And the French Canadians, They're just so artistic. They love their music, and they sang every song, and it was a perfect show to end the year.
I love it. So, like, what was it like then? How is it then compared to now? Because now you're like touring and playing shows now. It's, a couple years later from when you guys first hit it and blew it up hugely. Like, is it a lot different because everybody's a little bit older? Is it still as much fun?
Yeah, it's absolutely still as much fun. In many ways, maybe even more so, because when it exploded, things were really crazy. It was, people sleeping out in your garden and gate crashing your home. And you couldn't go anywhere. Now, everybody's grown up, and we're a lot more mature, and so we come out. The band is playing kick-ass. My voice is still top-notch. I'm still singing in all the same keys, and the fans are older, and they like to get to meet you and get together with you, but it's usually a hug and a handshake, and everybody telling each other stories of the past, and then you move on. So
they're not stalking you. They're not like stalking you or sleeping on your front door or like attacking hotel rooms.
No, hopefully those days are long behind us.
I love it. I think it's like fantastic.
Now let's get back to Canada. I've been to Edmonton, Banff, Montreal. My ex-wife, my deceased wife, she was born in Canada. Where the hell was it? Ontario.
Okay, well I'm in Ontario, Toronto.
So we used to go all over Canada. I have to tell you, Canada is a beautiful country.
It certainly is.
I mean, absolutely. The scenery, the mountains, the greenery, the waterfalls. That Banff. Banff is heaven. I mean, Banff is the closest thing to heaven.
Yeah.
The only place I haven't been to is the west coast of Canada, which is Vancouver. I have never been to Vancouver.
Well, that should be on your bucket list, because
Vancouver,
and especially Vancouver Island, and some of the smaller islands like Salt Spring Island, just magnificent.
Well, we're moving back to Palm Springs, so we'll be on the west coast, and we take long drives, so we're going to drive up to Vancouver.
Okay.
I've never been to Canada.
He's never seen the Redlands or any of northern Washington State or any of that.
Right, I haven't. I have not.
It's a beautiful country.
I love it. I can't wait. So let's talk about you. First of all, I want to. Is it okay? I want to talk a little bit about, because like you've gone through some health stuff lately, and since I'm getting older and he's getting older, and it's
I'm getting younger.
So I googled you, and it said in 2015 after you recorded an album, you had a stroke.
Yes.
And then there's a documentary, and the documentary, let's see, I wrote it down, called Live to Tell. It's about you fighting back from stroke to stage.
Yes.
And I forgot. It said you were paralyzed all on one side.
Yes. I was recording I have a solo album out there called 80 to 90 Rewind, where I recorded songs, all recorded from 1980 to 1990 by other artists. Tears for Fears, Simple Minds, John Waite, Peter Gabriel, Madonna.
Sinead O'Connor.
Sinead, yeah. And Yes. And Tears for Fears. So anyway, on the last evening, finishing the vocals up here at my studio, my family were in Edmonton, and I was supposed to go visit them a couple of days after I finished, and I was all alone, and I went to bed, and when I woke up in the morning, I felt funny. I felt something wrong with my leg. I thought I'd slept on it wrong. And then it got into my arm, and I denied it. I just kept putting it off. And I went golfing with my son, and on the golf course I had a little bit of a spasm, and so we ended up going to the hospital, and I had a full-blown stroke happening in the hospital. And I was completely paralyzed on my right side for about 3 days straight. And then my fingers and toes started to move, and that began the journey of rehab.
Wow.
Back to stage.
And you're back to stage, because I watch videos that are real recent videos, and you're jumping around and doing everything. So number one, we want to say, thank goodness we're happy you've made a great recovery and you're still able to do what you do because the fans love it. I love it.
What they blame the stroke on?
Well, I have a history of high blood pressure.
Okay, there you go.
And it's not because I'm a big guy. I'm small and lean, so it was a hereditary for me. And so I encourage anybody. It doesn't matter. And I was swimming. I played soccer all my life. I just didn't take enough care. I was on some medication, got a little lazy with it, and a clot happened in my brain. And they
So you had an aneurysm in the brain?
Yeah, well, it wasn't an aneurysm. That's a bleed. Mine was more like a blockage.
Okay. So you had arteriosclerosis?
Yes. So, yeah, a little bit of plaque maybe, or even what they call an occlusion, which is where the artery sort of closes in on itself.
Right. Well, that happens when you grow older. I've never had a stroke, but I have a family that's died from aneurysms in the brain. Back 300 years, it seems, that everybody died this way on my mother's side. So I went to the doctor to discuss stroke, and he said, at my age, we have multiple strokes every day. Little strokes that heal instantly because it reroutes the electricity another direction.
Right.
But so the thing is to stay with blood thinners and all kinds of stuff, eat right, and keep the
I read that you eat right now. Like
you have to eat right. That's important.
Yeah, I do. I mean, and I've cut back, a couple of beers, and that's me. I'm done.
Right.
You have to change it up.
You'd be better off drinking vodka than, not even vodka, what do they say? I think scotch than beer. Because, no, seriously, scotch thins the blood. So,
yeah.
So Scott, you ever see some alcoholics that live to be 300 years old?
My father must have had the thinnest blood in mankind.
So where do people go if they want to see the documentary? Is the documentary like online someplace?
No, we haven't released it yet. We're doing a little, I guess you could call it a movie premiere here in Toronto. I want it to be a teaching tool. I want it to be something that people can watch this guy fight his way back and say, I can do that too. And then we can do a Q&A and maybe even talk to people about how they can prevent it rather than happen.
One thing I think is really cool is how you made your whole ordeal and the tragedy of all of you, how you've made it public to really like use your celebrity and the fact that it happened to you to give back to really like help other people. And I think that's like a really cool thing.
Well, thank you. It's just who I am. I've always been. I was in medicine before music. My dream was to be a doctor, and I got as far as being an RN, and then I wrote "Don't Forget Me When I'm Gone." But it's just inherent in me to health teach and help.
I love it. Okay.
Well, you should. I do. Whatever has happened to me, I had 2 stents put in. So you find out why, and you realize that you eat the wrong foods.
Yeah.
That's why you get blockage. And if I didn't go to the doctor, I would be dead now, because I had a 90% clot in my, what is it called? Widowmaker.
Right.
And another 10%, the heart would have blown up and I would have been dead. So luckily I knew the signs, and the signs are fatigue, out of breath, dizzy. Go to a doctor, because you don't know what it is. Go. If I didn't go to the doctor and tell him, listen, I want an angiogram or whatever the hell it was I had, and he said, yes, we'll do it. And they saved my life. So that I send out to everybody. Take care of yourself. Eat correctly.
Absolutely. So then let's go to, so you talked about the, which I didn't get. Like I was thinking 80290, what is that? It makes sense when you said it, 80 to 90 Rewind.
Yes.
This is a great album, first of all.
I got it. You didn't get that? 80 to 90. Yeah, I got it.
I know, but if you just see it written, it says 80290. I don't know. I was thinking 90210. I don't know. I'm like retarded.
You thought it was
when you said it 80 to 90 Rewind, I was like, great. This is a really fantastic album, you guys.
But you know why, Jimmy? Because rewind is an expression we used in the 70s. I don't think you knew that. There would be a rewind. We had these huge tape recorders in those days,
And you would hit rewind. I know that.
But that was what it was. It was like, I have 3 rewinds to do.
Well, I love it. Okay, so first of all, this album is great. First of all, we should also just give you some props, you guys. So Alan Frew and Glass Tiger, they won 5 Canadian Juno Awards. That's basically like the American version of a Grammy, right?
Right.
Yes, it's the Canadian version of a Grammy, yeah.
Okay, so you got 5 Canadian Grammys, 5 Canadian Classic Awards. You were nominated for a Grammy in the United States, which you should have won. Like, nobody could ever beat you guys. That was like the best album of the year, without a doubt. You should have won. But anyway, you're also the recipient of the Queen's Diamond Jubilee Award in recognition of service to the Canadian arts. And you got this like solo album that came out 2 years ago, 80 to 90 Rewind.
Good. You got it.
And it's got a remake, like more of like an acoustic down, I don't know, like less instrumental version of Someday, which we're going to play for everybody in a second. But it's also the two other songs that really stuck out the best for me, because I listened to all of them and I bought a couple of them, and Nothing Compares to You, because I love that song and your version is really, really good. And I'm a huge John Waite fan, and Missing You was also a fucking, they're all great, but those are like my 3 standout ones, were Someday, Missing You, and Nothing Compares to You. They were my favorites. I'm sure everybody loves all of them. But what I want to do is, Chad.
Hi, Captain.
You have the Someday version off the 80 to 90 Rewind album, right?
I do. I previewed it, and it sounded good.
All right. This way, everybody can see how fabulous you sound. You know, it's like 30 years later, and like you sound just like you did like 30 years ago,
Probably
which is
better.
fabulous.
Maybe
How did
better.
you manage that? I've sung in my life. Not anymore. I don't have vocals anymore. I can't do what I used to do. But I guess you're much younger than I. So, how old, can I ask, are you?
61.
Still at 60. Was I singing at 61? Maybe. But, you know, your vocals do go.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful that yours have stayed.
Yeah, man. It's just, you know, it's one of the things that stayed with me. I guess my time will come, but right now I'm just a pub singer. So I come from the lineage of singers and the heritage of singers. And so far, so good.
So here's what I want you to...
I understand that Barbara Streisand is having trouble singing.
Yeah, well, Babs is getting up there, right?
She hasn't got those highs anymore. She can't hit those high notes. It's sad how it happens. It's really sad. I mean, look at Julie Andrews. That's the saddest of all.
Yeah.
That gorgeous voice, due to a bad operation, she can't sing at all.
Right.
So you're very fortunate.
And talented. So here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. I want you to introduce the song. It's Someday. Chad's got it. We're gonna play it. Hang on. We're gonna let everybody hear how fabulous you sound now, and then we'll let everyone. You're gonna have a new album coming out in the beginning of the year with Glass Tiger, so everybody's gonna love that too. But you introduce it. We're gonna play it for everybody so they can hear how fabulous it is.
All right, guys. Well, this is Alan from Glass Tiger, and this is my solo version of the classic Glass Tiger hit, Someday.
That was a good intro.
When I come home, you telephone and say you're waiting for me. I ask you why, I hear you cry, but you're still waiting for me. Someday you'll be shedding your tears to cry over me. Someday I'll be losing this fear. Now I'm alone. You telephone and tell me you don't need me. I ask you why. You tell me lies and say the truth would hurt me. Someday you'll be shedding your tears to cry over me. Someday I'll be losing this fear. Oh, oh, someday. Streets where lovers meet, that's where I'm waiting for you. In the streets where lovers meet, I'm still waiting for you. Someday you'll be shedding your tears to cry over me. Someday I'll be losing this fear. Someday you'll be shedding your tears. Will you cry over me? Someday I'll be losing this fear. Darling, oh, oh, someday, oh, oh, someday. Someday.
All right, there you go, Jimbo.
All right, everybody. So that was Alan Frew from Glass Tiger, and that is his version of "Someday." The Glass Tiger hit off the album 80 to 90 Rewind, and everybody in the chat room freaking loves
Sounded
it.
good.
Several people say you sound better now, and everybody's saying what a great song it is, which everybody know that already because it was like a worldwide smash hit. But your version as a solo artist, everybody loves it.
Thank you. I do think my voice is has been a little richer over these last 10 years than it was when we first started.
Which I think is terrific.
Well, it's wonderful that your pipes went the right direction.
Yeah, really.
Direction.
Chad, what did you think?
I thought it was beautiful. It was well done, and yeah, like I was just said, it's a blessing that he's kept that nice voice for over 30 years there.
Well, he's 67 also.
61.
Oh, 61. I mean, that's, not a kid anymore. I mean, when I was 21, I could sing like a woman. I mean, I had a voice that went high as a pitch. Now, I go high, I sound like a car engine that needs tuning.
Let's hear it.
No, let's don't.
Okay.
No, I don't sing anymore. What are you, crazy?
So tell us some kind of like off the hook, great, cool story about being like a rock star who sold millions and millions of like records when you were like in your wild and crazy days. Tell us something that like maybe everybody doesn't know, so it can be like a Jimmy Star Show exclusive.
Okay, I got in, and I've never told this outside the inner circle.
All right.
Good. We like that.
That's what we like.
Okay. Back in the day, Tanya Tucker and I became friends, and she had a bit of a crush. And I was in Switzerland touring with Tina Turner.
Oh, you're kidding. I love Tina.
That's like his favorite.
Oh, my God. Now you got to tell me about Tina.
And so it was a day off before we came home to Canada, and there was a big country festival happening at the stadium that we had played in for 5 nights before with Tina. And I was pretty hungover. We'd celebrated the last show with Tina. but my road manager wanted to go to the country festival because he was a fan of some guy called Boxcar Willie.
Oh, I know that.
I know Buck.
Yeah.
Oops.
So I blotted out that I knew Tanya Tucker and she would get us into the show if we wanted to go. So he said, yeah, let's go. So we went down to the stadium, and Jerry Lee Lewis was headlining.
Oh my!
Wow.
So I bought a couple of picture discs of Jerry Lee Lewis to maybe get Tanya to sign them, get Jerry from Tanya to sign them. So anyway, I asked the big security guy to get me Tanya Tucker, and she came out, and she said, "Oh, hey baby, how you doing?" And I said, "Hey, can we come to the show tonight?" And she said, "Yeah, of course." So she went back in and she got some passes, and I said, "Tanya, here's a couple of picture discs of Jerry Lee. Could you get them signed?" And she said, "Yeah, but better still, if he's in a good mood, I'll bring you in and you can get them signed." And I said, "Okay." So we left and we went for dinner, and then I had a bit of a sort of ESP kind of a moment, because I'd heard stories that Jerry Lee doesn't go, like, you can never get him on, and even if he headlines, you better put him on early or you're never going to get him on. So I said to my road manager, Joe, let's go now. So we went, and when the taxi pulled up outside the stadium, we could already hear, "Hold on, baby, whole lot of shaking on."
Going on.
He's on. So we go running in, and he's in there. And I got to watch how much I tell you, by the way.
No, we're unscripted, unfiltered.
Yeah, he doesn't want. He said they don't want him
You
to know.
can say whatever you want.
So we go in, and I'm side stage, and he's banging on the piano, but there's actually a woman behind the curtain, and she's actually playing the piano. And Jerry's all fucked up. He's really messed up. And so he only does like one song, and then he goes, "Good night, Cleveland." And of course, we were in Switzerland. So Joe and I go running around, and they're bringing him towards the dressing room. And it happened to be the dressing room that Glass Tiger used the night before. And as he's coming towards us, I couldn't go over how much he looked like Liberace. He was caked in makeup, and he had a smoke jacket on and a silk scarf. So anyway, he's with Tanya and some young girl, and this Boxcar Willie guy, and the biggest bouncer I've ever seen in my life. And he passes by the green room, and in the green room there's a cake, a giant cake, and it's the size, it's like a guitar. And he breaks away from everybody, and he fucking body slams this cake, and he slides right through the cake and falls on the floor on the other side. So they pick him up, and they walk him to the dressing room and slam the door shut. And she opens the door and she says, "Alan, 5 minutes and I'll bring you in." I said, "Okay."
He's in a good mood.
So we wait 5 minutes.
Well, the
And in
cake
we
ate.
go. Well, the big bodyguard stands in front of us and he says, "Where you going, boy?" And Tanya says, "Duke, he's with me." So we go in, and we're in the dressing room, and next bit gets really weird. I don't know if I want to tell it or not.
Yes,
Tell
you
it
do.
quick, but we've got 2
Listen,
minutes, so we got to
If
hurry.
you
Do it
don't do a
quick.
good ending
Okay,
to this,
so he jumps up on the couch, and he pulls his dick out and he starts pissing everywhere.
no.
And Joe and I it's like it never happened. And then all of a sudden he jumps down off the couch and he kicks my road manager. He boots him right in the side of the leg. So I grab him. The Glaswegian comes out in me. So I've got Jerry Lee Lewis by the throat. He's got me by the collar. And we're doing this kind of, and Tanya's saying to me, "Don't hit him. Don't hit him." And I'm thinking to myself, if I hit this guy, I've got to get past that bouncer outside the door.
Yeah.
And we just kind of dance around and I push him off and we step outside and we go, "What the fuck just happened?" And they all leave in a tour bus. He did one song. She never sung a note. Boxcar Willie never played a note. tour bus pulls up, guys get out with shotguns, they jump on, and they drive away. And they never played. And Crystal Gale had to do the show for 3 hours.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
And Crystal doesn't have that kind of power.
And it turns out that they were all pretty screwed up on stuff. And
You didn't get anything signed either.
That's
What
happened
did Tina
that night.
do?
yes, I did.
You did. You got
wow.
it signed. Okay.
Yeah.
And you got to see his dick, so like it was all
Big
cool.
deal, big deal.
Lock that out.
What?
We gotta go. We gotta go. It's 4:50. So hang on, everybody. Listen, follow Alan Frew on Twitter at Alan Frew. When you guys are ready for the CD to come out, we'll bring you back and we'll promote the new CD. We'd love to have you back. I love you to death. Your
Then you
music's
tell us
fab.
the end of that story.
And then you can tell us
really.
Tina Turner's story.
Yeah.
Let me come back soon and tell you about the new album.
Absolutely. So
Terrific.
Alan, have a Merry Christmas to you and your family. Thanks for coming on the show. And enjoy yourself. Love the music and have a great holiday season.
Thanks for
Thanks,
the story.
Alex.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye now. Merry Christmas.
All right, everybody. We want to thank you guys for tuning in today. Our guests, Robert Craighead and Alan Frew. We had a blast. Glad you bought the CD on iTunes, B. Claudia. And we just heard a great story that we've never gotten before. And Chad, thank you. And we'll see you guys next week.
Later, fellas.
Bye, everybody.
Liverpool MC, you can't test me. Big up the girls inside the party. Let's get down to crazy Jimmy. Big up myself and known as Alfie, the one and only, the Turkish MC.
Always love the clothes of Jimmy.
British punk, yo, wanna be. Jimmy Star's new celebrity.
We'll take you out to Jimmy Stars. He'll dress you right. You'll feel like a star. We'll hook you up. Now you look sexy. Your game is tight. Gonna get laid tonight. You need Jimmy Star. Jimmy Star. You need Jimmy Star. Jimmy Star.
One day I was walking down the street. My mate come up to me and said, "Hey mate, wanna go to a party?" I'm like, "What are you talking about, love? I ain't got no gums."